Hello and welcome to this first little update here. This project is going to be essentially a digital recreation of ancient Jericho, or at least as close as I can get based off of research and lots of interneting and satellite images, just to kind of get a look and feel for how ancient Jericho may have looked and felt. So when I first got to work on this, the very first test render that I did turned out to be a huge error, because when I first built it in the computer, for some reason I got my scale wrong and it was some 10 times or probably larger than it needed to be, which was surprising and wild to think about, that the army walked around that entire situation. But after some correction, I was able to get a more accurate rendering of what the scale would have been based on research and archaeological finds, that the walls were actually about 11 to 13 feet tall, and just kind of by comparison to a 6-foot human, what that would look like and feel like. And then as I've been working, I've been able to just find other people who have done renders and had done drawings and paintings, and just kind of understand more about what the city may have looked like at that time, and what type of building materials that they used, and how their houses were shaped. Were they round? Were they square? How many rooms did they have? What kind of how many stories were there? Was it one level, 2 levels, or how was that all put together, and about how many people lived in this city, just to kind of put yourself in their shoes during that time. And so as I've been working on it, I've kind of come across a number of drawings that make sense to have the city kind of built up onto a mound. So a little bit later on, I actually ended up changing, after I adjusted all the walls and measured them to height, because I want to make sure everything is modeled to scale so that it's all accurate. So this is the second render with elevation changes that were put in, because I'm thinking that the city was probably on a slight hill, and then inside the city was another wall inside of the external perimeter wall. And as you can see in this render, the wall is not yet. I'm still working on that. But the elevation in the center of the city would be something that would be part of that second layer of protection. So as you approach the main gate here, there would be another, probably, I don't know, this may actually be a little bit on the tall side. I may end up bringing this down about half of what it is now. But it's something to think about how steep that mound may have been. What's reasonable, what's realistic, for given the construction abilities that they had back in the day. But I'm imagining that as you go into the main entrance, you would walk up this big stairway or big path, and that would go into the main castle or throne room, the interior of which I'm not entirely sure. I'm just guessing at this point. And then I also put, based on photos just found online of what the Tower of Jericho may have looked like, because the Tower of Jericho also is known as the City of Palms, as well as the City of the Moon, and they're pretty much known for a lot of their moon worship. I'm assuming that this is not only like a watchtower for military use, but also maybe just like a ceremonial building for worshiping the moon, or think of it as an observatory is essentially the idea, potentially. Again, this is all speculation. And then some of the houses are a little bit too short, but that's an early look of the city that I'm gonna go for, and I'll update more as time moves on, and I'll catch you guys later.